Mr. Speaker, today is a day when we can all say, for the first time in a long time, we all work together. Not to say that we don't try to work together other times, but the result isn't always the same. We compromised. We did what I believe, and I know that you've heard the Speaker and I talk about our different definitions of negotiation, but typically the definition is you all go in there in good faith, as we certainly all have in the past, and I hope continue to in the future, and then we all give up something. And I think this was a perfect example of that, and I was happy to be part of it. Today worked because we were all able to fulfill our obligations to fix the deficit, while at the same time taking care of areas in the budget that we all feel strongly about. Namely, no municipal aid cuts, and secondly, and just as importantly, making sure our hospitals get the payments they have been promised. Time after time after time, we hear about promises not kept. And I think that although we all feel very strongly about keeping those promises, it doesn't always work out that way. But tomorrow is a new day. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the history, because what's the old saying? If you don't deal with your history, you're bound to repeat it in the future. We are on the heels of the 2 highest tax increases in the state's history and unprecedented borrowing. You've heard us on this side of the aisle in the House and the Senate talk about structural changes. And I don't want there to be any confusion that our agreement on this deficit mitigation today is in any way, shape, or form us backing off on our strong belief that the only way we change the course of the state of Connecticut is to make those structural changes in the future. We have gone into a reality in this state where we have a new deficit almost monthly. That's not a reality any of us like. That's not being negative, but that's where we are, and it is our job to fix it in the best way we know how. As I mentioned in December when we stood here doing this, I believe, and I think I am right, we have a trust problem in this state. The people of this state do not trust us. I know the majority leader respectfully disagreed with that. I think he has now thought better of that statement. But it is our job to get that back, and it's our job together to get that trust back. I certainly hope that even though today is not a document that we as Republicans would have put out if it were totally up to us, I recognize that in the spirit of compromise and negotiation, it is a good document. It has protected people, at least for the time being. And I hope that what we did today is a start of gaining trust back from the people of the state of Connecticut. But please remember, we have a long, long way to go.